Hello, algebra students. This is section 7 of chapter 2 where we're going to talk about percent of change. Percent of change is simply the ratio of change from the original. So it's a ratio, that means it's a fraction. We're going to compare change to the original number. Usually we're talking about cost or price. As you see from the little sign here, that we're going to be talking about when there's sales at the mall, or maybe even figuring out tax. So we're going to be comparing the percent of change. If it's a percent of increase, then that means that the new number is greater than the original price or the original number. Or percent of decrease means that the new number is smaller. So let's look at this as a proportion. If we're going to compare how much something changed, we're going to compare change to the original number, then the percent is going to be compared to 100%, because the original is 100% of its original, and we want to know how much did it change, or what percent that was of 100. Now, this is a little bit different than is to of. We're not comparing new to the original. We're comparing change to the original. All right, percent of change. Determine whether the percent of change is a percent of increase or a percent of decrease, and then find the percent of change. So this is the proportion that we're going to want to use. Alright, original is 32. We don't know what we're talking about here, if we're talking about dollars or whatever, but the original number is 32 and the new number is 40. So I already know that that's a percent of increase. So how much did it change? Let's see. To go from 32 to 40, that's a positive change of 8. So it changed 8 from the original price of 30, or the original number of 32, and we want to know what percent that is. So percent is going to be our variable. We'll just call it x. So as we cross multiply to solve, 32x equals 800. Divide both sides by 32, and x is going to be 25. So it's a 25% what? Increase. That would be our final answer. Alright, let's do the next one. It went from 20, the original number, to 4. So that's a change of negative. It went down. So 20 minus 4 is 16. So it's a negative 16. So that's our new number. Excuse me, our change was negative 16, not our new, but the change over the original, and we're trying to figure out what that percentage is. So again, we'll cross multiply, and that's going to give me a negative 1600. Divide by 20, and x here is going to be a negative 80% decrease. And it's a decrease because it was negative. So it went down 80%. Alright, I'm going to leave this one and the next one for you all to do on your own. Remember, it's not new to original, but change. How much did it change? This is going to be a decrease right here, so be careful. Change over the original equals percent over 100. Okay, now let's move on to the first word problem. The price a used bookstore pays to buy a book is $5. The store sells the book for 28% above the price that it pays for the book. So that's an increase. What is the selling price of the book? Okay, so we already know it's a 28% markup. They paid, the original price was $5. So now our variable is how much did it change? They're marking it up 28% above the price they paid. So now we want to find out how much of a change that is. after we find out how much of a change it is, to get the new selling price, we're going to have to take the original price plus how much it changed. So maybe make yourself a note that this is what you're going to have to do before you get your final answer. Alright, so as we cross multiply here, 5 times 28 is 140. Divide by 100. And x is going to be 1.4 or 1.40, $1.40. That's how much they mark it up. So our original price was $5, and they mark it up $1.40. That's supposed to be a zero. $5 plus $1.40. So our new price is $6.40. That's the selling price of the book. So you see how there were several steps to that problem. You had to think through how to set up your proportion. When you solved for x, that's the amount of change, and it's an increase. So you had to go back and add to the original price. Okay? At one store, the price of a pair of jeans is $26. At another store, the same pair of jeans has a price that is 22% higher. What is the price of the jeans at the second store? So again, it was where you're going to find the percent, and you're going to have to add it to 26. You're adding because it's an increase. And I'm going to let you do that example problem on your own. So you can pause the video here and go back and do those if you haven't already done the other two. Alright, now let's talk about sales tax. Did you pause the video and come back to me? I hope so. Alright, sales tax. Think add. A meal for two at a restaurant costs $32.75. If the sales tax is 5%, what's going to be the total price of the meal? So our original, remember it's change to original. I have to kind of keep that in my head. It's going to be percent over 100. So let's change colors. So we have $32.75. That's our original price. And we know that it's 5% for tax. And we want to know how much money that's going to be. How much are we going to need to add to our bill? Because this was the total cost before tax. And so after tax is what you really need to know. I want to stop here and make sure and tell you that there are more than one way, many more ways than this one way to solve this problem. I know you have to figure out tax all the time. This is a very practical use of percent of change, which is our objective today. But I wanted to stick to our proportion because we just finished talking about ratio and proportion, and this is going to help us with things to come. So go ahead and cross multiply. If you've got your calculators handy, you ought to be able to do that fairly quickly on your calculator, and you'll find out that x here is $1.64, rounded. That is the amount of tax. So that's what we need to add to our bill. So $32.75, again I'm using my calculator, plus $1.64 gives me a total bill of $34.39. And of course that was an increase because we had to add tax to our bill. Okay, Pepsi Cola cost $1.05, and the tax on that's going to be 9 1/4. So again, I know there's other ways to solve this, but let's figure out how much change that's going to be to our original cost at 9.25 over 100. Alright, when you cross multiply that on out, and you have, you'll end up dividing by 100, x turns out to be approximately 0.10, so I rounded that up. So that means our total cost of our Pepsi Cola, we need to add 10 cents to our $1.05, so it's going to be $1.15. And of course that was an increase because it was tax being added. I'm going to let you all figure out the cost of our television, if it's $5.25 and 8.5% tax. Okay, let's talk about discounts. I love to go find a bargain. So at a dog a dog toy is on sale for 20% off the original price. So this is going to be a decrease. If the original price of the toy is $3.80, so again it's change over original, and the percent off was 20% out of 100. So as we cross multiply that out, we end up getting, I know I haven't been showing my work, so let's show my work on this one. 20 times 380 is 76. So when you divide that by 100, it's 76 cents, 0.76. So that's the discount to the toy. So again, it was a discount. So I'm going to say the original price minus 0.76 to get my new price on the dog toy for $3.04. And that was a reduction. So it was a decrease because it was on sale. Okay. Same thing's going to happen with this baseball cap. It's on sale for 15% off. I'm going to leave this one for you to work and come to class tomorrow ready to work several more problems using percent of change. And I hope that you meet these example problems with much success and can feel confident about figuring out the percent of change. All right? Y'all have a happy day.